Have you ever opened your heart, sharing your biggest dreams or deepest fears, only to feel exposed, judged, or even betrayed? Perhaps you confided in someone you thought you could trust, or revealed your plans with excitement, hoping for support, only to face doubt, criticism, or worse, a sense of betrayal. That sting can leave a lasting scar, making you question whether it's safer to guard your thoughts and feelings, locking them away from the world. In today's culture, where oversharing is often celebrated, staying private can feel like an act of rebellion. Social media tempts us to document every aspect of our lives, from the mundane details of breakfast to the raw moments of heartbreak. But what happens when that constant sharing drains your emotional energy or exposes you to negativity? What if I told you that true strength doesn't come from how much you reveal, but from how much you protect? Buddhist teachings illuminate a profound truth. Your inner world is sacred, and your greatest power lies in safeguarding it. By guarding your vulnerabilities, shielding your dreams until they are strong enough to stand, and being mindful of whom you let into your life, you can cultivate an unshakable peace. This isn't about building walls. It's about creating boundaries that honor your emotional and mental well-being. Today, I'll share a story and 10 timeless principles inspired by the wisdom of Buddhism. These lessons are not just teachings, they are tools to help you maintain clarity, nurture your aspirations, and protect your emotional energy from the chaos of the outside world. By the end of this journey, you'll discover how to live with resilience, self-respect, and inner harmony. So, are you ready to take the first step toward mastering the art of protection? Let's dive into the first principle and explore how to transform your vulnerabilities into sources of strength. 1. Transform vulnerabilities into strengths. Ravi was a reserved young man with a deep passion for public speaking. Yet, every time he stepped onto a stage, his body betrayed him, his hands quivered, his voice wavered, and his thoughts scattered. The joy he once associated with expressing himself was overshadowed by the fear of judgment and failure. Frustrated by his inability to improve, Ravi confided in a coworker, hoping for encouragement or advice. Instead of support, he found himself the subject of cruel whispers and office gossip. His vulnerability, laid bare, became a tool for others to mock him, amplifying his self-doubt. Feeling humiliated and cornered, Ravi sought solace in Buddhist teachings. There, he stumbled upon a profound truth. Weaknesses are not marks of failure, they are opportunities for growth. However, to nurture them, they must be shielded from those who cannot value or respect the journey of self-improvement. This realization marked a turning point for Ravi. Determined to overcome his fear, he chose to protect his struggle rather than expose it. In the quiet of his home, Ravi practiced speaking to an empty room, recording himself, and reflecting on his progress. He experimented with techniques to steady his voice and maintain focus under pressure. Slowly but surely, he grew more confident. Months later, Ravi delivered a presentation to his team. This time, his words flowed effortlessly, and his presence commanded attention. Those who once doubted him now marveled at his transformation. Ravi had turned his perceived weakness into one of his greatest strengths, not through external validation, but through quiet perseverance and self-trust. His journey teaches us that vulnerabilities, when protected and nurtured, can evolve into extraordinary strengths that no external force can diminish. 2. Be selective with trust. Lena, a single mother navigating the emotional weight of a difficult divorce, often felt overwhelmed and isolated. At work, she met Sarah, a coworker who seemed kind and genuinely interested in her life. Sarah's comforting words and sympathetic nods felt like a safe space in the storm Lena was facing. Hoping to lighten her burden, Lena began sharing her struggles, her financial difficulties, her worries about raising her child alone, and her fears for the future. For a while, it felt good to be heard, but soon, whispers in the office reached Lena's ears. Sarah had shared her private struggles with others, twisting the narrative into exaggerated gossip. Stories of her financial issues were turned into judgments about her ability to manage her life. Those she barely knew began treating her with pity or judgment. Lena's trust had been broken, and her vulnerabilities were now the subject of office chatter. The betrayal left her humiliated and deeply hurt. In her search for healing, Lena turned to Buddhist wisdom and uncovered a vital lesson. Trust is not something to be handed out freely. It is precious, sacred, and must be earned. Words may feel warm, but actions reveal someone's true nature over time. True friends are those who show empathy and loyalty, not those who use your pain for their own amusement. From that moment, Lena decided to be more mindful. She began observing how people spoke about others. Were they respectful or prone to gossip? She learned to guard her personal struggles, sharing only with those who had proven themselves worthy of her trust. It wasn't about closing herself off, but about creating boundaries that protected her peace. Lena's experience reminds us that trust is fragile but powerful when placed in the right hands. By choosing carefully whom to confide in, we protect not just our secrets, but also our emotional well-being. Trust earned slowly is trust that endures. 3. Protect your private life. Your personal life is like a secret garden, a sacred space where your dreams, relationships, and aspirations grow. Each goal you nurture is a delicate flower, requiring time, care, and the right conditions to flourish. But when you open the gates of that garden to just anyone, you invite the risk of it being trampled by carelessness, judgment, or even betrayal. Take Sam, a young and passionate entrepreneur. He had spent months refining an idea for a business that he believed could change his life. Bursting with excitement, he shared every detail with a casual acquaintance, someone who had shown interest but had never truly earned his trust. Days later, Sam was stunned to learn that his idea had been stolen. The acquaintance had taken his plans, made a few tweaks, and launched the business first. Sam's hard work, once a source of pride and joy, now felt like a bitter loss. This betrayal taught Sam a powerful lesson. Privacy is not about hiding who you are or being secretive. It's about protecting the things that matter most until they're strong enough to withstand the outside world. From that moment, Sam kept his new ventures to himself, carefully nurturing them behind closed doors. He shared progress only with those he trusted, mentors, close friends, and family who truly supported him. When he finally launched his business, it was resilient, well-prepared, and free from external interference. Sam's experience reveals a truth we often overlook. Sharing prematurely exposes our dreams to doubt, criticism, and even theft. When you guard your private life, you create a protective space where your goals and relationships can grow undisturbed. Privacy is not a wall. It's a shield that ensures your most cherished parts of life remain yours to cultivate and celebrate. 4. Master emotional reactions. Emotions are like storms, intense and unpredictable, but ultimately fleeting. While we can't control when they arise, we can choose how we respond to them, shaping whether they lead to chaos or calm. Mia, a skilled manager, often dealt with a colleague who seemed intent on undermining her. During one particular meeting, this colleague launched a baseless critique of her proposal, calling it impractical and poorly thought out. Mia's face grew hot, her heart pounded, and anger bubbled up inside her. She wanted to defend herself fiercely, to call out the unfairness of the attack, but she paused. Instead of reacting impulsively, she took a deep breath, letting the initial surge of frustration pass. In that moment of calm, Mia reminded herself of a core principle from Buddhist teachings. Emotions are like waves, they rise, peak, and eventually fall. By observing her feelings without letting them dictate her actions, she could respond with clarity. Mia addressed her colleague's criticism with measured logic, pointing out the strengths of her proposal and calmly countering the inaccuracies. Her poised response not only diffused the tension, but also garnered respect from others in the room. This experience taught Mia that mastering emotions doesn't mean denying or suppressing them. Instead, it means acknowledging them without letting them take control. By guiding her reactions, Mia preserved her inner peace and maintained her professional integrity. When we master our emotional responses, we take back control over how we navigate conflicts. In doing so, we project strength and stability, showing others and ourselves that we cannot be easily rattled. It is in this balance of self-awareness and restraint that true power lies. 5. Keep plans private until they are ready. Ravi, an aspiring writer, had always dreamed of publishing a novel that would resonate with readers. When inspiration struck, he couldn't contain his excitement. During a casual gathering with friends, he eagerly shared the details of his plot and the themes he wanted to explore. Instead of encouragement, Ravi was met with a barrage of skepticism. Are you sure that genre is still relevant? What if no one buys it? How do you plan to compete with well-known authors? Though his friends didn't mean harm, their unsolicited advice and doubts chipped away at Ravi's confidence. He began second-guessing himself, questioning whether his idea was even worth pursuing. The excitement that had fueled his creativity was replaced by self-doubt, and his project stalled. Determined not to give up, Ravi decided to approach his writing differently. Drawing on wisdom he had encountered in Buddhist teachings, he realized that ideas, like young plants, need time to grow strong before being exposed to external forces. This time, he kept his plans private. He worked diligently in silence, focusing on writing without seeking validation. When his manuscript was complete, he shared it with a trusted mentor who provided thoughtful, constructive feedback. Ravi's revised manuscript went on to become a bestseller. Reflecting on his journey, he understood the power of protecting early-stage plans. By nurturing them quietly, away from criticism and doubt, he gave his creativity the space it needed to flourish. Early plans are fragile, like seedlings needing shelter from harsh winds. Silence becomes the fertile soil where ideas grow strong, ready to withstand the scrutiny of the world when the time is right. Protecting your dreams doesn't mean hiding them. It means giving them the care and patience they deserve. 6. Practice vigilance, not paranoia. Vigilance is mindfulness applied to our relationships and interactions. Raj, a kind-hearted individual, valued his friendships deeply. Among his circle was Mike, someone who always seemed to need something, a ride, a favor, or advice. Initially, Raj didn't think much of it. He assumed Mike was going through a tough time or was simply busy and unable to reciprocate. However, as months passed, a pattern emerged. Mike's calls and messages always centered around his own needs. He rarely asked Raj how he was doing or offered any support in return. Each interaction left Raj feeling drained, as if the relationship existed solely on Mike's terms. Drawing from Buddhist teachings, Raj reflected on the nature of his connection with Mike. Buddhism emphasizes mindfulness, not just in meditation, but in observing patterns in our daily lives. Raj realized that while it's important to help others, relationships should be built on mutual care and respect. With this understanding, he set gentle but firm boundaries. He limited the time and energy he devoted to Mike and focused instead on nurturing friendships that brought joy and balance into his life. This decision wasn't rooted in anger or paranoia. Raj didn't assume malice on Mike's part, but he recognized that the dynamic wasn't healthy for him. By being vigilant, Raj protected his emotional energy and created space for relationships that uplifted him. True vigilance isn't about mistrusting everyone. It's about staying aware of patterns and acting wisely. By doing so, we can maintain harmony in our connections and protect our well-being without closing ourselves off to the world. 7. Use silence as a shield. Silence is one of the most underrated tools for maintaining strength and composure. Emma, a talented team leader, was frequently interrupted and criticized by a colleague during meetings. No matter how well-prepared or thoughtful her ideas were, this colleague always seemed intent on undermining her. Initially, Emma felt the urge to respond, to defend her perspective and call out the interruptions. But each time she did, the situation escalated, and the meeting lost focus. Drawing from a principle she'd learned in Buddhist teachings, Emma decided to try a different approach: silence. Instead of engaging in heated back-and-forth arguments, she chose to remain calm. When her colleague interrupted her, she stopped speaking, paused briefly, and then resumed her point without addressing the disruption. She also let her work speak for itself, delivering high-quality results consistently. Over time, her silence became a shield. It frustrated her critic, who began to appear combative and unprofessional in contrast to Emma's composed demeanor. Her calmness, paired with her consistent achievements, won the respect of her team and management. Eventually, her critics' behavior backfired, diminishing their credibility. Emma's experience highlights the power of silence in protecting one's peace and maintaining control. Silence isn't a sign of weakness. It's a conscious choice to disengage from negativity. It creates space for reflection, ensures you remain unpredictable, and allows your actions to carry more weight than words ever could. By choosing when to speak and when to remain silent, you not only maintain your composure but also command respect and authority. Silence, when wielded wisely, is an armor no one can penetrate. 8. Embrace humility with success. When Ravi was offered a major promotion, one he had worked tirelessly to achieve, he felt a surge of pride and joy. The recognition for his hard work was well-deserved, and his first instinct was to share the exciting news with everyone around him. But before he acted, he paused to reflect. He realized that making his success too public could invite unnecessary attention, envy, or even doubts from others who didn't fully understand his journey. Instead, Ravi chose a quieter path. He shared the news with only a handful of close friends and family, those who had supported him throughout his struggles and genuinely cared about his progress. Rather than seeking applause, he spent time reflecting on the lessons he had learned during the challenging moments that led to this achievement. He also set new goals for himself, using the promotion not as an endpoint but as a stepping stone for further growth. This humble approach shielded Ravi from the distractions that often accompany public celebration. By keeping his success private, he avoided the weight of others' expectations or judgments. It allowed him to focus inward, nurturing his motivation and staying grounded. Ravi's experience teaches us the power of humility in success. When we celebrate quietly, we protect the purity of our achievements, ensuring they remain personal milestones rather than public spectacles. Humility doesn't diminish the value of success. It amplifies it by keeping us rooted in gratitude and open to further improvement. In this quiet reflection, we find strength, clarity, and the drive to continue growing. 9. Guard your reputation. Sarah was a dedicated and compassionate teacher, admired by her colleagues and students alike for her patience and empathy. Her reputation as a kind and reliable professional had been built over years of consistent effort. But one day, during a particularly stressful staff meeting, Sarah let frustration get the better of her. She made a sarcastic remark about a colleague's suggestion, a comment that, though fleeting and unintentional, cut deeper than she had realized. The room fell silent, and Sarah immediately regretted her words. Over the next few days, she noticed subtle shifts in how her colleagues interacted with her. Though she apologized, the incident left a small but lasting dent in her reputation. Sarah realized how fragile a good reputation can be, how one careless moment can overshadow years of goodwill. Determined to learn from the experience, Sarah turned to a principle rooted in Buddhist teachings, mindfulness in speech. She began pausing before speaking, asking herself 3 simple questions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? By aligning her words with her values, she ensured that her actions consistently reflected the person she aspired to be. Sarah's experience serves as a powerful reminder. A good reputation is like a tapestry woven from countless thoughtful actions and words, yet it can unravel with a single careless thread. Guarding your reputation means being mindful of how you communicate and ensuring that your actions align with your core values. By doing so, you not only maintain others' trust, but also strengthen your sense of integrity and self-respect. Your reputation, when built with care, becomes a legacy that speaks for itself. 10. Set boundaries for peace. Sophia was a compassionate and hardworking professional who deeply valued her friendships. One of her closest friends, Laura, often turned to her for emotional support. Laura would call regularly, pouring out her frustrations and struggles, with little regard for Sophia's time or emotional capacity. While Sophia wanted to be there for her friend, she began noticing a pattern. These conversations left her feeling drained and overwhelmed, with no space to share her own joys or concerns. Over time, Sophia realized the imbalance was taking a toll on her well-being. Drawing inspiration from Buddhist principles of self-care and harmony, she decided to set gentle yet firm boundaries. One day, during a conversation, Sophia kindly explained her feelings to Laura. She expressed her willingness to support Laura but requested that their conversations include more positive topics and be more balanced. Sophia also set limits on when she could talk, ensuring her own time and energy were respected. To Sophia's relief, Laura responded well. Their conversations became healthier and more uplifting, and their friendship grew stronger as a result. Sophia found that setting boundaries didn't mean shutting people out. It meant creating a framework for mutual respect and understanding. Sophia's story reminds us that boundaries are not selfish acts. They are necessary expressions of self-respect. By defining what you can and cannot accept, you create space for growth, harmony, and meaningful relationships. Boundaries ensure that your energy is preserved for what truly matters, allowing you to nurture both yourself and those around you with balance and care. As we've journeyed through these 10 timeless principles, a profound truth emerges. Protecting your inner world isn't about shutting yourself off or hiding who you are. It's about honoring the sacred space within you, the source of your strength, clarity, and resilience. Each step, from safeguarding your vulnerabilities to embracing silence, setting boundaries, and choosing trust wisely, is a practice of self-respect and mindful living. Buddhist wisdom teaches that your inner world is your foundation. When it is nurtured and protected, you become unshakable amidst life's chaos. Think of your mind and heart as a tranquil garden. Without care, it can become overrun with weeds of negativity or trampled by the intrusion of others. But when you protect and tend to it with intention, it blooms into a sanctuary of peace and purpose. You don't have to adopt all 10 principles at once. Start small. Maybe today you choose to keep a new idea to yourself, giving it time to grow. Or perhaps you set a boundary in a draining relationship, allowing yourself space to breathe. Each small act of protection strengthens your foundation and transforms how you navigate the world. The power of these practices lies in their ripple effect. When you honor yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Your life becomes a beacon of balance and authenticity, demonstrating that true strength comes not from external validation, but from the quiet confidence of a guarded and nurtured inner world. If these insights resonated with you, I encourage you to take action. Practice one principle today and observe the changes it brings. And if you found value in this journey, like this video, share it, and subscribe to OM Wisdom for more teachings that empower mindful, harmonious living. Together, let's create a life rooted in clarity, balance, and authentic self-respect.